Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining XROM Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Avil. XROM Podcast is designed to celebrate, showcase, and shape the AR, VR, MR industry and to help you understand and learn about this transformational technology which holds potential to change the way we live, work, and play. Happy to have with me Jimmy Cheng. He's the Director of Content and Business Operations at Iconic Engine. He oversees licensing and acquisitions of XR content. Iconic Engine is an offshoot of Digital Domain, a global leader when it comes to visual effects. This was an enlightening conversation when it comes to monetization and distribution. I really hope you enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for joining XRM Podcast, Jimmy. Really appreciate this. So tell me, Digital Domain, right? Digital Domain is one of the biggest studios, and then you guys have branched out into Iconic Engine. So what's the story of Iconic Engine, and what do you do at Iconic Engine?
So I joined Digital Domain in 2016 April, and I was more like a business operations in Asia. We started to do like VR, AR platform development, camera development, live streaming, content creation since end of 2014, early 2015. So we were actually like entered this industry like during the early stage. And we did a lot of things during the past. We did the Rio Olympic live streaming. We did a lot of early stage content creation. And we service a lot of B2B service for like NBA, Sky TV, Nobel Peace Prize for their VR platform development or the live streaming service that they need. And we actually decided to spin off Iconic Engine in 2018 last year during summer, because whenever we went outside to say, we are a XR company, we are coming to pitch for your VR project or B2B service, normally people would say, Digital Domain, you guys are making Transformers, Iron Man, you guys are not a VR studio or XR company. So we thought this is actually really not a good branding image. That's why we decided to spin off Iconic Engine in last October. So Iconic Engine currently is focusing on the VR platform development, B2B service for Orange in France, Deutsche Telekom in Germany, the two major telecoms in Europe. And I basically joined Iconic Engine as a business operation director and also content licensing director. Basically, it's because these two telecoms and also other telecoms in Asia, they are actually looking for VR contents to license to their platform. And it's actually very hard for one telecom to directly negotiate with like 200 studios, because each studio only for like one content. That will be, costing them too much manpower and time. So they actually want to leverage Iconic Engine to be the middleman or a content aggregator provider to help them to source for like premium VR contents to let them choose. And then we handle the back and forth work for like licensing discussions, also agreement process between IP owner and telecoms. And this is actually what I do.
Can you share some details on which prominent names of the VR films that you have managed to place them onto telecom industry, and what is the market like? Because at this point in time with VR, I mean, there's so much negative press around it, because especially in India, actually, I mean the industry. I mean, there was this movie called Bahubali which did a VR. Make in VR, they did like a small clip. Then A.R. Rahman, this music director, did like a small VR film called Le Mask. But besides the big names, the smaller players, like either they don't have the budgets, and if they do make the films, then there's this problem of distribution and monetization. That seems to be like a major issue. And you're saying that with these telecom companies who are actually seeking content, what are the prominent names that you have actually placed the VR films, and are you also looking at Indian content creators?
So basically, I actually represent for about 75 studios in the world right now, including like Pinta Studio from China, GoPro in the USA, Secret Location. I also have like contents from Artist 5, Inner Space Studio, Lucy Realities, like the majority from France, and like NSC Creative, Breaking Force from the UK. and also like all kinds of studios globally from everywhere, like also like in Russia, in Germany. And basically, like, I already licensed about 25 studios contents out. So basically they have like travel content. Some of them are pure animation, educational content. Some of them are like documentary talking about the space or educational. Basically, telecoms are looking for a wide range of content. It's not just specifically for like just entertainment, just pure animation, or just travel. So I actually very interested in what kind of contents I can find from India, because India is still a territory or a market that I don't quite understand at this moment, because I don't. You are the only one or two people that I know from India. So actually, yeah.
I think we have an office over here also, right? In Bombay. I mean, Digital Domain has like a branch in Hyderabad.
Yes. We do have a studio in Hyderabad. Sutir, the general manager in India. Of course, we're very good friends, but I actually don't really know the market, the environment of VR or VR studios in India. So I'm very curious. And jump back to what telecoms are looking for. I would say currently I just complete one or two deals with Deutsche Telekom and Orange, and they actually license a wide range of category that basically combines between music, sports, live events, pure entertainment, fiction, travel, documentary, educational. So I would say basically as long as there is a content that I can try, I will go to try it, because I actually cannot predict what my telecom client will choose. So to me is to provide a wide range of catalog, the more the better.
Right. I get that. I love it. So you mentioned that you guys did the Olympic live streaming. So do you have any data around that? Because I mean, we are still in a very initial stage, right? I mean, except for the people who are building the content, the technologists and the developers and the content creators. Largely, I mean, if you step out of that circle, I mean, people really don't know what AR, VR, MR is. It gets very overwhelming for them. When they hear these big sounding words, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. So when you said that you did the Olympic live streaming, do you have data like how many people actually sat and saw that, and was it appreciated? Do they have the VR headsets, and do you have any data like that?
So basically, for the end users quantity of each telecom, that is kind of like a confidential information that telecoms normally they don't want to share with public. But I can share some other kind of statistics. So normally, these telecoms VR platform is like 95 or to 98% focused on the mobile VR app. So they do have an app for Android, for iOS, and of course they will have like a special build no matter on Oculus Go, on a Pico headset, or even gonna be Oculus Quest. But the reality is most of the end users, especially for new end user, they approach to VR as the first time, normally from mobile. No matter from YouTube VR, Facebook, or other kind of VR app, basically using Magic Window to basically just like browse around, the content, like moving the phone around. This is actually most of the first experience for people to approach VR, because normally only like industry people, you and me, or like content creators, or other like gamers, that they will like directly touch VR in a proper way. Normally, I think for most of the end users, buying a headset is really useless and also like too luxury, because if you really want to have a good experience, that you're gonna spend like $300-$400 to buy a headset, but actually you don't use that like every day. So if you're doing that just to watch some linear contents but not for gaming, it's actually not ideal.
Right. Yeah, bang on, I guess. Yeah. So yes, I mean, at this point in time, I guess VR seems to be novelty, because today, I mean, you'd rather spend your money, which you use something on a daily basis, and there is statistics that when you buy these VR headsets, it's just the initial days you are like really hooked onto it, and then the VR headset is just lying right there in the corner. So do you think that there is a lack of content being a reason why the VR headset gets kept aside after the initial phase. I mean, tomorrow's per se, if I buy a Oculus Quest headset, then there is only so much content out there, right? And then after that,
Yes.
what? So is a lack of the amount of content possibly the reason of the slow adoption?
I think basically it's kind of like chicken and eggs. So of course we want a better resolution of headset, and we also need more contents. Currently, yes, we don't have that many contents that exist in the market right now, because a lot of studios they transfer themselves into 6 stuff and interactive. A lot of studios they decide to focus on gaming. Actually, more and more less and less studio that are really focusing on linear version of contents. But the fact is, a lot of end users, they are lazy. When they finish a day of work, when they have some time to relax, they actually don't want to, jump around or do a lot of crazy interactive. They actually want to sit there and try to enjoy some premium contents, which right now we don't have enough in the market. Because right now, like these telecoms, no matter from Asia, from Europe, they are actually choosing most of the same contents for one huge catalog, including the catalog I have and also some other distributors. Because I would say right now, if you want to say like the AAA premium contents that exist in the world, really can trigger telecom's interest and also can approach to normal end users easily. I would say maybe only 100 to 150 titles. And then if you want to consider about the premium B-level content into the catalog, I would say maybe total like 300 titles. A lot of contents, they're too niche, or the quality or the storyline just don't make sense. So right now, telecoms really don't have enough to choose on the plate. So first, we don't have enough good contents. Second, we are also improving the headsets, and we're actually waiting more content creators to create more better contents. So it's kind of like we cannot lose either one of them.
It's a chicken and egg situation, because I do believe that to create better content you need better expertise, you need like a bigger team, you need better hardwares to create, whether it's live action or CG based things. But then if you're not able to monetize that, then that's a problem. How it doesn't become sustainable. So
Yeah.
so that again is a problem. Do you see mobile VR as the future? Because I mean the way things are going, I mean at this point in time, your computers and your mobiles are converging into one single wearable device. I mean eventually it'll come down to a glasses which with the fidelity of something that I'm wearing. So do you see that coming soon, or it's again going to take some time? What are your views on that?
So I think mobile VR is not gonna be the mainstream at this moment, because if you're really watching VR content on your mobile phone, we both know that the experience is not good enough, 100% not good enough. But the thing is, using mobile VR is actually a good showcase of 5G, because it's fast enough, so you have enough bandwidth. You basically one click, no buffer, you directly stream to 4K pure animation content without a problem. So it's actually a good showcase that for normal end users to access to better content, better quality, better bandwidth at the same time. So that might can trigger them to have more interest to try VR, to maybe go to buy a cheaper headset or go to try a premium headset. I think mobile VR will not really become the mainstream, but it's kind of like the first step that normal end users approach VR. And if we can really provide them a better environment, better content, better bandwidth that they can enjoy a little bit, then this can really trigger them to do something more, no matter for VR, AR, or MR.
Right. So tell me, you guys recently have built this holometric 4D cinema solution, a haptic motion chair for location-based entertainment. So what are the sales at this point in time? Where are the places where it's been installed, and what's the feedback?
Oh, so basically we just set up our demo in our office in LA, and we are actually trying to look for a good location to set up our demo room in January, because right now it's going to approach to Christmas and New Year, so the showroom will be ready in late January or early February. We have integrated a couple projects. We have two projects from Backlight Studio from France. One is called Far Reach. Another one is called Birdie Kingland. And these two projects are actually 6-star film VR rights project. So basically can really showcase our chair's capability for the 6-star motion that you really can walk into the content. And we also have a couple of old projects like from Digital Domain called Micro Giants. That one is also like a VR ride, but it's actually a traditional 360 film. We are also trying to integrate a couple different projects, more like cinematic VR film, like a 6-star, kind of interactive, but you actually are really watching a feature film like in VR. Of course, not for 60 minutes, only for about 12 to 14 minutes. We're trying to make that work with the chair and also combine with the 2D screen in front of the chair that can give people a glance of the intro video to let them know what's going to happen before they put on the headset. And actually, during the demo that we did through NAB and also some studios that came to visit us recently, I think it went pretty well, because normally when you walk to a shopping mall, when you see some chairs, just isolated or located in the mall, normally is that you don't know what's going on. So a lot of end users, they actually just see something maybe they want to try, they pay, and then they have no idea what's going on. They put the headset on, shake, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's done. And then they left and they never come back. So we think this is actually not a good LBE experience for a normal end user, just, first time try that. You really need to make them have a feeling like they're going to, Universal Studio for Minions, for The Simpsons. Before you get on the chair, you put on the headset, you are already like engaging with the content, with the characters, no matter from the 2D screen, no matter from the show reel that play on the wall. And you already actually kind of feel, you understand what's going to happen once you get on the chair. So when you get on the chair, you don't need to really get familiar with it. You can directly start to enjoy and engage with the content. And this is what we want to provide through our 4D cinema.
Right. So do you think that the theaters are waiting to be disrupted, because 2D flat content has taken over 100 years to evolve, and do you think something like this will kind of like take us into the next step of evolution of the 2D cinema, where we start interacting with content and we are in the content? Would this, your holometric 4D solution, be that little trigger to push drive that conversation?
I think the 4D cinema, it can really be a good solution for location-based entertainment, because I think right now a lot of people are also seeking what kind of LBE is the best way. I would say right now, if you go to a location-based entertainment, no matter arcade or showroom, normally they are for interactive and gaming, for installations. But actually, some people, they actually want, just as what I said, they maybe just want to enjoy some kind of like a good VR film or like content. So I think the 4D cinema can really give an end user a better environment to really enjoy the VR film or, the content that they want to try. And I think basically setting up a good 4D cinema at the proper location, no matter at the shopping mall or at the place that has really, really huge traffic every day, it can really trigger like more people to get familiar with VR, and they can actually trigger them with a good interest, but not just try it and like, and then they leave.
Okay. So tell me, what would be your advice to these developers or content creators who are listening in right now? Largely at this point in time, the people I know around here are just struggling, right? Because when they're creating virtual reality content, it's to go and convince the ecosystem, whether it's the advertising agencies, whether it's the studios, or it's the media industry, to make them understand. Only it takes a lot of time that this is the future, and people should actually start looking at the future and start building content. At least start slowly, because in another 10 years or 15 years, AR, VR, MR will be the future. But it's extremely difficult and slow. So what would be your advice to these developers, content creators? Hang in there, keep on doing what they're doing, or to make it sustainable, what would be your advice?
I think there are 2 points I kind of want to emphasize is a lot of content creators, when they are designing a project, they always starting from something that they have passion or something they feel that is going to be fancy or interesting. But I think when you want to choose a subject to create your project, the first thing you need to define is who is your target audience. If you can really define a correct target audience, and then you push back to see how you're going to develop this project, normally your project will be more accurate once you finish the development. And then the second thing is, don't only think about one format. Like, I only think about crazy interactive. I also try to think about, is there any installation I can do for LBE? Is there any web interactive series that I can generate? Or is it possible I can also have a linear version of the project? Because right now we know the end user quantity is just not enough, way lower than what we expect, no matter from online to offline. So the best way is, when you are developing a project, if you can really decide who is your target audience. So no matter it's at the museum, at the LBE, it's young people, old people, it's hipsters or fancy kids, or like a normal student. And then you also cover the format that you really can think about it, that are suitable to execute your project. So you actually already plan how you're gonna develop the project, who's gonna be end user, and also you already think about your distribution plan. I think that can really provide you a better opportunity to have a well done premium project, and you also know where the project will go. Because I see a lot of projects, they are so fancy, they're so nice, but they actually sit in their hard drive and actually don't go anywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, I know about that. So tell me, I mean, you guys being AR VR content studio, and website says that you guys do not just do content, you distribute content, you're building a product which you already built, or holometric. Then you're distributing content, you're doing installations. You guys are really doing quite a lot to push drive the ecosystem. But do you see India as a market opportunity? And if you do see that, are you looking at any collaborative opportunities? Do you wish to reach out to content creators over here and kind of figure out a way that you guys can engage each other and do something?
Basically, I would say India is definitely a really potential market in the future, because you guys have a lot of people. And, if you have a lot of people, you need more kinds of solutions of entertainment, because people get bored all the time. And from my perspective, or Iconic Engine's perspective, firstly, we definitely are looking for studios that they are trying to create, interesting content, no matter for 4D cinema, or they are, preparing to provide any type of content that is actually going for online distribution. We're more than happy to discuss with those creators. No matter they have previous project we can help to distribute, or they have a concept that they would like to discuss. This is something that I'm looking for. And also, if there are any potential operators that they want to set up their VR arcades, their location-based entertainment, facilities, we're more than happy to, discuss with them and let them see if our 4D cinema is something that they're looking for, because our 4D cinema is kind of like a full package of our solution, but the chair can actually work independently. So if you don't want a complete package of 4D cinema, you actually just want a couple of the 6-star motion chairs to showcase some good 6-star films or VR contents. The chair actually can work independently and doesn't cost you that much space. So I think the conclusion is, I want to talk to more creative studios for older projects distribution, for new projects development. And we're also keen to talk to potential exhibitors or operators to see if our 4D cinema or just the motion chair are something that they're looking for to support on the distribution, and also to provide a better kind of like an LBE experience.
So just talking about the 4D chairs, definitely, I think you guys should reach out to A.R. Rahman, because A.R. Rahman is this music director. He's composed the music for Slumdog Millionaire, and like I mentioned, he's made this VR film called Le Mask, and he's simulating the smell for his film. And last, when I spoke to his producer Karan, and they were mentioning that they were looking for solutions where they could actually find ways where they could simulate those senses, not just the smell. So possibly maybe your chair could be the perfect solution for them. So can you give me a little bit more details on the chair? What kind of haptic feedbacks does your chair provide, and your installations? I mean, what installations you have done so far?
So basically, I think for installations, right now we don't really did the installation before because we just finished the integrating of our chair in LA, so we haven't really started to distribute our chair. But as an example, that our sister company in China called Digital Domain Space, right now we have about 55 locations in China. So basically, they have the VR cinema using the motion chair to distribute contents, and they also have like installations or gaming VR contents experience that showcase at their VR arcade. And so it's kind of like a combination of everything into one space that's separate in different kind of like small areas or rooms that you have VR cinema, installation, gaming that basically combine in one facility. And for what kind of a feature that our chair can provide, very simple. So basically, our chair used to be a three DOF chair. So you can actually only do a little bit motion. You actually don't really walk into the content. But right now we have 6 actuators under the chair. So basically the chair can really do the tilt, the turn, the up and down at the same time. And also the motor is pretty powerful, so it can be very fast. And we also integrate the subwoofer and also the speakers like next to your neck. Of course, when you are wearing the VR headset, you're with another headset. But while you're watching the intro content, the vibration, the subwoofer, and everything can actually give you the feeling that you're actually in the environment. And once you put on the VR headset, of course, the chair will move. Basically depends on what kind of content that you are watching. And the second thing is the vibration, the subwoofer, and also the speaker that can provide you the feeling that next to your neck, the waves, and also like, if it's really, really bumpy, that you can feel everything. So I think the chair is actually very smart. And the second thing is, everything we do is like written on Unity. So our chair can directly talk to the computer, talk to other chairs, or talk to the 2D flat screen in front of you. Basically, it can be a single person experience, or it can also be a multiplayer experience that all the chairs are synchronized together. And if you really have a multiplayer simple game that you want to use controllers, the chair actually can also talk to each other, that people go into the same experience. You guys can actually compete with each other based on the design of the experience.
So, how optimistic are you of the AR/VR industry, and where do you see the future of AR/VR?
You mean the future of VR industry?
Right.
I think online is I think what I feel is LBE, people were all talking about LBE since like 2017, and we actually see a lot of people invested into VR arcades, VR cinemas, location-based entertainment, like everywhere in the world. But I heard from some studios and people saying they feel that LBE will shrink a little bit in 2020 because we don't have enough content, and also actually the traffic for LBE is just not enough. Of course, there are some independent shops or brands that are profitable, but I think a lot of LBE operators, they are still counting on financing to make sure the operation can work well. And the other theory that they share with me is based on the money they generate from online and then offline. So what they say is if you can really generate $100 from online, maybe compared to that $100 from LBE is actually in between $20 to $30. So they say they are basically the competition in LBE is like really, really strong, that, people are fighting for a small portion of the money in the market. So they feel that since the Quest is already in the market, HTC also came out with the new headset Cosmos. So they feel that in-home VR is gonna grow more and more in 2020 because some telecoms are actually start to deploy 5G. The bandwidth is getting bigger. So actually, you can have a better environment at home with better headset equipment that you can enjoy in-home VR. So I think you don't say VR. The future of VR is actually in-home VR, but I think in-home VR will become one of the majority very soon. And then for online, I think like for telecoms or those platforms, that is still an important segment because I think once more and more users are adapting into VR, they still want to watch some good linear content, basically just like you're sitting in front of a TV watching Netflix or just a movie. That they're just using another way to access to the new media and enjoy it. So I think three segments, LBE for sure, it's not gonna die, it will grow, maybe grow slower. In-home VR will grow faster in 2020 since we have better headsets, better bandwidth and environment. And third is for those online platforms, I think telecoms will play a good role in the market in the future because they own the bandwidth and they actually can easily step into entertainment since they start to do content distribution. And I think they're also waiting to see how the cloud rendering, cloud gaming can go in the future. So that's how I feel.
Lovely. Last note. When do you think the AR/VR content creator will start seeing money? Because you're the money man, right? You're the one who's looking at the distribution and the content. So when will people start seeing money?
So I would say as a distributor, do I see money? Yes, I do see money because compared to 2015 to 2018, I think a lot of licensing deals are actually, platforms or people are asking, say, okay, you have a premium content. Let me do a showcase for you because we have audience. And it's actually, they don't really provide no matter a flat licensing fee or a good minimum guarantee. And even they say they want to do pay-per-view plus revenue share. But because that they didn't have enough quantity of end users, so actually not many people were really buying contents. But at this moment, my job in between IP owner and also the platforms, which is the telecoms, is actually very simple. The first thing is I want to set up a standard for IP owner. It's like if you have a premium content, so at least I can help you to maybe license your content out for a certain amount of fee, which is like a reasonable deal that I feel honored to report back to my IP owner because I don't want to do any bad deals with him. Because if they don't really can get any good profit or capital back from the market, then eventually they will not create contents in the future, which means that the ecosystem will go to the dead end. And my second job is actually to create a good catalog for my telecoms to really find premium contents. And of course, right now the money they put into the ecosystem is not big enough. So my job is also to find a balance that the IP owner knows that we are targeting to get some certain amount of reasonable licensing fee. But at this moment, we also cannot ask too crazy or too high because I think the market is not ready enough. So we also need to wait. But at least we do have some standards. So it's kind of like playing a long-term game in between two sides to find a balance that IP owners are happy to release the film or the content based on this type of licensing fee. And also is this type of licensing fee also that telecom feels this is something reasonable they pay to license the contents, but also not too crazy because the market is too new or too small. So yes, I do see money, but I think we still need another 1 or 2 years to see a bigger growth on the licensing fee. But we already see a lot of growth compared to 3 years before. And then I think for Iconic Engine's perspective, I don't have other questions for you to ask. I would say we definitely want to talk to more creators and IP owners in the world because even though I've been running everywhere for about a year, we just started to do a partnership with Kaleidoscope and also Sandman Studio in China. What we're doing is actually we set up a platform for a lot of creators to submit their complete 360 projects, and we just closed the submission. We got about 78 projects that are submitted to the platform, and we're gonna start to do the curation and to see what are the top 10 to 15 projects that we want to select and then include into the catalog and showcase to telecoms. Which this means there are still many hidden projects that I have no idea where to find. I don't even know who the producer or creator is. So we definitely want to talk to more creators. And I think some creators are actually interested in creating a content for a simulator. This is also something we would like to discuss with them. And yeah, that's all.
Lovely, yeah. So thank you for being on XRM podcast. It was a pleasure talking to you and getting to know about your views. And I'm sure the listeners will get get a little help on, shaping their trajectory in better, because like you mentioned, the ecosystem is a little slow. It needs to be collectively we need to all come together collectively and grow the ecosystem and be extremely precise and what content we actually we build, because we need to add value, not just build content and let it be in a hard drive, right? So yes, so thank you for
Yes.
being part of XRM podcast. It was a pleasure talking to you. Like always, I'm gonna have all your details down below. So for in case if my viewers need to get in touch with you, because this is about building a community, so they can reach out and get in touch with you. And if you like what you see in here, please press the subscribe button. Until next time, see you guys. Bye bye.